Welcome back everyone. I'm doing you an update video today on this bike here. So hopefully you've seen the main video for that. If not, you might want to watch that first, make a bit more sense. It's a 1998 Airborne Titanium frame with full XTR. And I've got a few issues from the shakedown that I'm going to address in this video. A few parts to change, a few issues to resolve, and look at this fork because it's not doing much at all at the moment. So let's see what we're going to do. So it's a UK heat wave this weekend, so I've got shorts on, fantastic. Anyway, first thing we're looking at are these forks. So these are air forks, and they're so soft. Literally all I'm doing is lightly pressing the bar there, and they're bottoming out. So they are air forks, and apparently you can pump them up. I've never tried it, I've got the kit, let's see what you can do. So I never worked on these forks back in the day, so I'm not very familiar with them, I'll be honest with you. I've got the instruction manual now, somebody sent me that. Apparently you take these two screws out here, you can pump air into them. So let's have a look at that. Just a little Phillips screw. I don't know if it's JIS before US, probably not because it's an American fork at this point. It's got O-ring on there. And then you need one of these for pumping up footballs. And that goes inside there with your shock pump. So I've checked the air pressure on this one. For my ride away, it's around about 70 PSI it's asking for. Let's give my weight away, isn't it? Put a drop of grease on this needle and insert. So it's actually holding air on this one. That's showing 56 PSI still in there, so I'll put that up to 70. Take that off, 73, that'll do you for now, see what happens. I'm going to check this for leaks just with some soapy water. That looks good. Those bubbles are just literally from the soap, they're not coming from the fork, so that's okay. Drop the screw back in. Okay, check the other side. Insert your needle. 14.5, not so good. 71. Check this one for leaks as well. Oh dear. That's leaking. See, it's blowing bubbles there. Right, interesting. Okay, I have the manuals, however, I'm not familiar with which part is going to be needing to fix there, so if anybody that used to work on these forks can tell me which part I need to have a look for, see if I can source, then please let me know, and I will get that ordered if it's available. In the meantime, I'm putting the screw back in and hoping this O-ring does a little bit at least. Don't worry guys, I'm not really riding this bike at the moment, it's mostly for show at the moment. I'm going to get it on the floor, see if it feels a bit firmer now. Oh yes, much better. Much better. Next thing I want you to look at is this bottom bracket. If you remember, I thought this was ever so slightly too long, and it's got a fair bit of play in there. It is actually running quite nice and quiet, but I can feel that wobbling around there. So I've got another bottom bracket. Brand new, still being sold by Shimano UK. This is a Dura-Ace Octalink. It's 3mm shorter than the XTR units in there. I've got so much clearance on this, it's not even funny. So I'm pretty sure I can accommodate 1.5mm either side. So we're going to try and get this in. This is literally brand new, not even a bad price. Cheaper than what people are selling these used on eBay. It's still available from Shimano, thanks to the person in the comment that pointed that out for me. So I'm going to get this in now. So these are self-extracting caps. Just pulls against this cap and just takes it off. Excuse the noisy free hub, original DT. There you go. So there is some debate in the retro community on the road bottom bracket and the mountain bike bottom bracket. These splines are different lengths. So I will measure those up and let you know for sure. Actually, I'll do that now before I pull the entire unit out. That makes sense, wouldn't it? They look the same. I'm calling that 5mm. I'm calling that 5mm as well. Myth busted. They're the same length, guys. I'm not even wearing gloves on this. It's just literally everything's almost brand new. Considering how old it is. Put it in there. Don't chuck him at Allen keys around. I'll wedge the other one against me. Okay. Socket's a bit deep, so I'm just going to chuck something in the back of there. Better. Yeah. Tight. So these are both V1 Octalink bottom brackets, Dura-Ace XTR. However, they are different. I think they changed the design of them halfway through production, I think, can't remember. But this Dura-Ace one, you can actually service that. You can get into these bearings. It has a removable lock ring on there. XTR, basically a sealed cartridge bearing in here. And no bearings in there, so they are completely different. However, I think they fit. I just need to confirm which bit I need to fit, if I need these spacers or not, or if I just put it in as is. Let me just try it as is and see how she looks. Very nice. Is this titanium? It's not titanium, these are magnets, so it is magnetic. I'll just check the frame there, just in case I've been done. Right, let me get this in and see how she looks. You can buy 105 versions of this as well, which would be a bit cheaper, but it's not what this bike's all about. So I'm not going to buy that. So this is put in with lock rings rather than that special tool. Let me see if I've got the tool for this one. Nope. I'm pretty sure there's a special tool that would fit on there. I'm going to have to use a C-spanner, unfortunately. I don't have that tool. Just take your time. Alright, I'm just going to go for a test fit before I fully button everything down. Get the other side in. And you can't put a spacer on this side because of the design of it, so... Right, nip that up. There's a lock ring to go on there, obviously. Let me just check the width of these splines as well, actually. 2.1, 2.2-ish. 2.2, right about the same. They look the same. Right, before we fit it, we're going to get some grease on here. And then on the crank, I'm just going to remove this extractor cap first, just so I can push the crank on and make sure it's engaging properly, because you can't see behind this. That's the bolt, the washer and the extractor cap taken out, and you can see what you're doing here. These need to basically engage obviously with the splines of the bottom bracket. Let's have a look. And you can do it without doing that, but it's just a bit risky. It's very risky, especially when these cranks are so ridiculously expensive. Alright. That's definitely engaged, I can see that. Tighten this bolt back in now then. Just tighten it down, it should feel nice. Yeah, it feels good. Perfect. I'll probably need to adjust the front mech after this because we've moved everything in a millimetre or so. Right, that feels good. And obviously there's no play because it's brand new. I'll just quickly whip it out because I forgot to tighten that lock ring back up. And then we'll go for a full final assembly. If you don't have this, you can use a crank puller, but make sure you get one that's suitable for Octalink cranks because it's a bit wider at the end, or you can put a coin in there. I'm not concerned about clearance on the left-hand crank. There'll be all the clearance in the world there. It's just around the chain rings that there was a question mark, but again, there's loads of room still. There's a Shimano tool, the oldest tool in the workshop, I believe, TLFC21. It's for crank caps and chainring bolts. This is way over 30 years old. Take this back out, tighten that up. We're not doing things twice. So I picked up this VAR C-spanner recently. It's powder coated, so no risk of damaging the frame. It's the first time it's actually been used. And look at that, what a perfect tool. Beautiful. VAR make awesome tools. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, that's brilliant, that is. There's your normal one. This is a part tool one. If you slip with this, obviously you're going to do some damage. With the powder coating, you've not got that problem. That's fantastic, love it. And just drop this lock ring on the other side now. Just setting this preload on this. That feels good. And just tighten this lock ring on as well. What a tool! Oh, that's fantastic. That's completely solid, that is amazing. Right, so we're getting both greased up and we get the cranks on finally. That's done. Again, I've took that cap out just so I can see what's going on where, because it's super critical I don't knacker this crank up. I'd be distraught, truly. That's on. Remember the torque setting for this? Normally about 40 for cranks. I'll check. Yep, 35 to 50, so we'll go in the middle, 40-ish. There you go. Nowhere near the chainstay still. Right, now I'm happy with that. I'm going to put a little drop of blue Loctite on this just to stop it falling out. Don't use red. I'd like to get these lined up, but I don't want to risk it because I'm going to damage them. As you can see, these cranks are in fantastic condition. Almost new, I think. Beautiful. Right, just do the other side now. Again, just took the cap off just to make sure this is aligned properly first. There you go. All the room in the world on the chainstay. Get this bolted in there. I had somebody ring me this morning, wants me to put together another very similar bike from the same era, Marin Team Titanium XTR, so that'd be nice. Probably film that as well. Right, loads of room. That's going to get this on the ground to torque it up. A bit easier than trying to do it floating around in the air like you saw. There you go. Right. Good. Well, a lot of you weren't impressed with my plastic Specialized caged. I do need a titanium one, but in the meantime I've got this aluminium one in titanium colour, so I'm just going to swap it over to this one. This is actually a Specialized one, but I'm on the lookout for probably a Chris King one. I think the amount of people complain that I didn't chop these lovely titanium bolts down to save a gram. I mean, it's a fair point. Maybe I should have, but I paid for them, so I'm keeping the bits that I paid for. That's my thinking. And others said, why don't you use aluminium bolts to save even more weight? Yeah, I mean, I could do, but the colour's not right, isn't it? I mean, it's tie on tie, so that's why. There's already grease in here from last time. The cage is a bit tatty, but in the meantime, I think it does look better. I think I need a 1987-88 Specialized stump jumper comp for that. Or the yellow cage. Maybe one day. Right, that was an easy one. Just in case you forgot how lovely these are. Oh, that's so nice. Anyway, the other thing people mentioned is, obviously it's a 90s bike, they should have bar ends on it. So, I have some bar ends. Let me show you. So I initially picked up these control sticks. I actually really like these. A really nice bar end from back in the day. A little bit tatty, but they would look really good. But then another option came up. Let me show you these. Airborne. Look at these. These are absolutely awesome. Hexagonal, octagonal profile, obviously titanium and airborne. Oh my god, these are going to look absolutely sensational. There you go, look at that. Like twins. They do take up quite a lot of space on the bar, a lot of real estate. So I'm going to have to move the shifters, etc. in quite a bit, but they're going to look so good. It's going to be worth it. And because it's a nice wide clamp area, I don't have bar end reinforcement things in these bars. They are very thin titanium bars, but because it's spreading the load over there, I'm just going to go careful with it and not over torque them obviously and crush the bar. But they do take up quite a bit of room. I've got room to move these in anyway, so that's fine. Just clamp these on the end. I've got to move these grips as well, which I've glued on, so that could be interesting. People were moaning about foam grips as well. I mean, back in the day, these are what you got. You didn't get lock-on grips back then. They're actually supremely comfortable, let me tell you. Anyway, let's see if we can get this to move and shift this inboard by that much. These are going to be the narrowest bars in the world. By the time I move this, I'll be honest guys, I think this bike is more for show at the moment than anything else, but I have taken it out just for, like I say, for a shakedown run, and that's where this video's come from. A few issues, a few positional issues I need to address in a minute. And get these upgrades back in. Just going to move these out of the way for now. But wow, these shifters are so nice and so expensive. I can't remember which was more expensive, the shifters or the cranks, but they were both just stupid money. But the condition is just phenomenal, as you can see, and the XTR cables as well. Right, see if I can move these grips. Best way with grips, if you can get them to move, is get some compressed air underneath them. Break my glove, and this should move it. Obviously being foam's not ideal because the air is going to penetrate through the grip, but I can feel that lifting basically there now. I just don't want to tear them. There you go, moving. Also moving my tripod, sorry. That's probably enough. And then these bad boys can go on. Oh my god, these are going to look amazing. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Wow, absolutely beautiful. 5mm bolt, that's ambitious for a bar end, isn't it? Like I say, I'm going to torque these tight enough to stop them moving, and that's it. If you go on these, all you're going to do is crimp your bar and damage it. Like I say, you can get reinforcements. I can't find any anywhere. Burps, I think they're called, or Burts, or one or the other. As long as it's tight enough not to move under normal use, I'm happy with that. That's not going anywhere. Obviously, if you take a tumble, it'll just spin around the bar rather than snapping anything, but that is not moving and it's not particularly tight, so it won't crush the bar. So that looks absolutely awesome. Tighten this shifter up. Oh my god, this is so narrow now. Right, just tighten it back up now in its new super narrow position. This is what you used to ride back then, guys, compared to what you get now. Totally different. I'm not saying it's better, it's just different. And I think that looks absolutely spot on. Absolutely loving that. Get this one fitted and then move on to the next item on the list. Just going to go through the front gears. Now obviously I've moved the chain set with that bottom bracket, so I'm just going to check these are still good. It's a bit slow. That's okay. Don't go big and it'll explode. There you go, that's not working. So we just need to adjust these limit screws. So when you're trying to adjust the stop, don't adjust it while you're actually in the gear. You're trying to adjust because, look at that, I can hardly turn that screwdriver there. It's very, very tight. Take it out of that gear, and that's released the tension off that screw, and I can turn it very easily. Okay, so don't try and force against the stop. Take it out of that gear, adjust it, and then put it back in. You need to keep going until you get it where you want it. Up there, and then up there. Perfect. So it's a little bit sort of very slow going down, so there's too much cable tension now. So you can see I was very slow going down because there's too much cable tension, because we've moved the chain set in 1.5 millimeters. So I'm just going to back off the cable tension on the shifter. That's this barrel adjuster here. It's already quite far out, so this will work quite nicely. So I'll go pretty much all the way in there and then go back out to get it right. Alright, I'll screw that all the way in and see how she goes now. Well, I haven't touched anything yet, I've just adjusted that cable tension. Let's pedal it now and see if it drops down. And it does, so it's purely just cable tension. And now we'll try the 3 rings. Down there. Just need to open up this lower limit screw a little bit, so just take the tension off there. Half a turn or so. That looks good. Back up to the biggest sprocket there just to check that. And then we're looking for clearance in here between the chain and that inner plate there. So it is touching, just going to back that off a fraction. If you're trying to undo it, you can do it on the stop, but when you're trying to screw it in, don't. I've just backed it off a tiny bit. It's basically the width of a piece of paper down there now. That's it. I'm just going to drop it down somewhere in the middle of the cassette and try all 3 chain rings. Like that. Small ring at the moment, up to the middle ring, and up to the big ring. Happy with that. Then back down. Back down. Perfect. So also on my list was this high limit screw here. It just needed opening up a smidge. I'll do that now. Again, if you're opening up the screw, you don't need to back it off. If I was trying to screw this in, it would be difficult. But if you're backing it out, it'll be okay. So I'm literally going to give that a quarter turn. It didn't need much at all. Perfect. Beautiful gears. So that super noisy hub you hear there is probably, what, 30 years old? Original DT Swiss, DT Hoogie Sport this is, so super, super loud. I can't remember, I think it's a ratchet system in this. I honestly can't remember, it's been that many years since I opened it up. But yeah, it's very, very loud. Beautiful. So next up, I'm going to look at the chain. So this has basically got factory grease on there at the moment. I just fitted it in the last video. So today we're going to take this off and we're going to wax it. Waxing on a mountain bike, yeah, it can be done, don't get me wrong. If you're going out in wet, muddy conditions, I probably wouldn't recommend it. If you're anything like me, fair weather cyclist only, always hanging on the wall most of its life, it's going to be okay. But I did want an opportunity to show you chain waxing, so we're going to use this as that opportunity. So I'm going to pop this off and we're going to run it through an ultrasonic cleaner, strip all the factory grease off it, and then we're going to hot wax it. So let's get the chain off. And I finally changed over to new chain pliers. So these are basically, you squeeze it to join the chain, you squeeze it to break the chain. Rather than the part tool ones where you had to pull them apart to join the chain. It's very, very difficult. This is a Shimano tool and it actually works really, really well. Drop it in there, it says remove or connect. Squeeze that in, it'll disconnect it. I'm just going to be careful because this spring is really, really strong on this derailleur. Drop that off there. Yeah. So it's a KMC chain and they do tend to put a lot of wax on KMC. If you're doing a hot wax, immersion wax, whatever you want to call it, you need to get that off and yeah, clean it up first. So that's the first job. I don't do a great deal of chain waxing. I do a bit for customers, but normally once they're set up, they buy their own little cookers and do it themselves. Otherwise, they're coming back here every couple of 100 miles to get it re-waxed. So it's a lot of maintenance. I love chain waxing. The drivetrain just looks absolutely awesome, and it's just the best they can. But it's quite a bit of a lot extra work. I've just found my pick. I lost that about 3 months ago, to the extent where I bought a new set. Awesome, I've just found it, covered in cobwebs. Result! Anyway, back to this. So as I was saying, I don't do a great deal of waxing. I do it for the customers, then they take it away, then they buy their own bits and carry on doing it. Otherwise, you're popping back here every couple of 100 miles to get it re-waxed, which is obviously not very practical, but it's an awesome system. First job you need to do, bit of setup, you need to get the chain wax off this. This is factory wax on here. There's a lot on this KMC chain, so I have a separate ultrasonic cleaner just for that. This is filled with ceramic speed drivetrain cleaner, that's hard to say. I find this works really, really well to strip the chain off in the ultrasonic for 10 minutes or so. And it comes out, you'll feel it's clean, it's just literally metal rattling around, it's so clean, it's fantastic. And then we immersion hot wax it in the Enigma. So I'm just going to switch this on, give it a blast, it'll come out absolutely spotless, no grease whatsoever, and then we'll hot wax it. Get some temperature as well, and I'm going to give it 20 minutes or so. Come back in 20 minutes. Oh, it'll be spotless. I can already see it all pumping out. Right, see you in a bit. And the link. Just gonna get this switched on and warmed up while we're waiting for that because it takes ages. It's powered on. This is literally just a slow cooker. Don't need a solid lump of wax in there. God, this stuff stinks. Woo. So I'm using Enigma wax. I'm not saying this is the best, it's just what I've got. If you have a look at Zero Friction's website, they go through every single wax under the sun, including candle wax, and give you all the data there. If you want to look for every single watt of saving, that's not what I'm looking for, I'm just looking for a waxed chain. So I'm getting that warmed up while this is still degreasing. Well, this stuff stinks. And again, there's a million different ways of degreasing your chain, petrol, all sorts of different things. I just like this, it's just convenient for me. It's in the workshop, does a great job, but there's a million different ways of degreasing your chain. But you can also use Silka wax with the little chips they do. That degreases it while you wax it. That's probably a great solution as well, to be honest. But anyway, that's what I've got, and that's what we're going to work with. But whatever manufacturer you buy, the principles are going to be very similar, unless, as I say, you've got the Silka one with the chips. You just chuck it in. You don't need to do this bit then. So that's good stuff. All right, I'll come back to you when this is done. Done. So let this drip super clean. Let that drain in there for a second. Well, that's done. So just going in an isopropyl now, just to rinse any degreaser off there still. Give that a shake. Right, I'm just going to let this drip clean, blow it through with an airline, and then we can go for it. Just blow it sideways so you blow through the rollers. No point blowing it flat, you're not going to do anything there. You need to blow it this way. I wanted to show you this as well. This was sent in by one of the channel members, Brian. He's designed this. He's selling these on his Etsy site. So he sent me one over from Canada, I believe, to see what I think of it. I'll give it a go. So basically you put your chain in there, dip it into the wax, swirl it around like this until it's up to temperature, take it out and hang it up by there. Just load it in, there's a little pin that holds it there, and just put your links in as well. And it's ready to go into the wax. It is still melting, it's got another maybe 5 minutes. A quick lunch and then I'll come back to you. Right, I'll throw it in there, and a lot of people use a spoke, but this just looks like a pretty good solution to me, to be honest. So let's chuck it in and then see what happens. There's still some at the bottom not melted, but that's fine, because what you have to do with this wax, get it up to 110 degrees. We're nowhere near there yet. And then once it gets to 110, you turn the heater off, let it cool down to 60, and then you're done. It's a pretty time consuming process, don't get me wrong, but like I keep saying, the results are fantastic. Quick pause while we're waiting for that wax to melt, and say a massive thanks to the video sponsor, Sport and Leisure. So there's nothing worse than being right in the middle of a job, only for everything to come to a grinding halt, because the part you ordered from somewhere said it was in stock, wasn't in stock, wasn't even in the same country sometimes. I've been there a month, I've waited. .co.uk, that means Spain apparently. I'll work that one out. Anyway, that's why I use Sport and Leisure. They're based right here in the UK. Their stock levels are 100% live. Says it's on the shelf, it's on the shelf, ready to go. Get your order in before 3 PM and it's dispatched the very same day with free delivery on all UK orders. We need it faster than that. Next day delivery is only £2.50, which is a bargain. They've also updated the channel discount scheme for you. Head over to sportandleisure.com/BCR or use this QR code on the screen right now. It'll generate a 10% discount at checkout off your very first order. They'll be buying parts anyway. It's an easy way to save a bit of cash. So the link's in the description below. And thanks again to Sport and Leisure for continuing to support the channel. Right, let's see if the wax is finally melted. Almost there. A bit more yet. With this you can just easily swirl it around as well, which is nice. There you go, look at that. And there's the chain happily immersing in its wax. It's not quite up to temperature yet, another few minutes. 110 I'm looking for, I'm 102 at the moment. And then you just turn this off, let it cool down to 60. I wrote it on the lid so I can remember the temperatures it needs. And then we're ready to go. Bit longer yet. So the other thing I need to do is put some cleats on my shoes. So these are currently Shimano SPD cleats. These are for the Onzo HO titanium pedals that are fitted to the bike. These, same idea as SPDs, but they use pieces of elastomer, rubber, to act as a spring rather than a physical spring. I used to use these back in the day a lot and I got on really well with them. So I got another set, like I say, titanium axles, a nice lightweight. Right, let's get these cleats fitted. Still got the instructions in this box, unbelievably, on the world's thinnest paper. I mean, they're not difficult, but there are two different ways of putting it on because there's two different levels of float. Basically how much you can move in the pedal. There's 6 degrees or 10 degrees. There used to be a number printed on here once upon a time. And all of these have been used, so I can't read any number anywhere. Or I might just be able to read that. That says 6. Let's presume this pair here was set up as a 6 then. Very difficult to get the cleats nowadays to use. You certainly can't buy them new. I ended up buying 2 sets of pedals. I bought a titanium set and I bought a rubbish steel set just to get the cleats that are included. So there's 3 pairs of cleats here. And the titanium ones came with a bag of new elastomers as well. So I'm set for life on these. So you basically just bolt on now. So no different to anything else really. I think you can just use the same plates and everything, same screws. There's loads of stuff here, but I think they'll just fit. That says 6. Okay, so these were set up as 10. That's the way that goes, not 6. Okay, good. Because that's what I wanted. I'm just pressing it from the inside of the shoe. I've got my hand in the shoe at the moment. Just to press this plate against the base of the shoe. And then this will bolt on. There's not much thread to catch, that's for sure, but once they get going, it'll pull itself in. That one's on. And that's that one on as well. You can see where the old marks were, so I'm probably miles out at the moment. I'll get it on the bike and see how it feels. I might need to just pivot this around, get more comfortable. We'll see how it goes. Right, I'll stick the other one on as well. Right, I'm calling that 110. Turn it off. It's off. Then let it cool down to 60 degrees. Just giving it a quick swirl every 5 minutes until it's 60 degrees. And you take it out and hang it up. It looks so good. I do like these things, honestly. Yeah, it's a pain in the arse. Don't get me wrong, of course it is. You can see it is, but the results, trust me, if you're dedicated, the results are absolutely awesome. Right, let this cool down. I'll come back off camera, swirl it around for every 5 minutes, and then we're done. I just want to level the saddle a little bit as well. It wasn't quite level. So I'll loosen that off. That's a bit better. Tighten this down. Ideally I want to go back a bit further, but I'm pretty much maxed out on here. Should have bought a layback seat post, to be honest. To be honest, I thought I did, and then I ended up buying this somehow. But it's a nice seat post. And I think whatever you do to this bike, it is never going to be especially comfortable, that's for sure. But hey, it looks amazing. That's the important bit for me at the moment. Right, that's better. Just wait for the chain to cool down in its wax, and then we can get that fitted. And then we are finished, finally. Until I decide to fit something else to it. Right, it's finally down to temperature. Excuse my dusty window, but I need to hang this up. Drain off the excess there, and just hang it up. Obviously any excess wax will just drip straight back in there. Come back when it's solidified, break it free, stick it on the bike. That's it, done, all cooled down. Right, this will be extremely rigid now. Fresh wax. It's actually slightly still warm, so could be beneficial. So now it's just a case of putting it back on the bike as you would any other chain. Can be a bit stiff where you got wax in the actual hole here. This one's okay. And it will be a bit stiff until you've done a mile or so. Let's just throw it back on. Chain is actually still fairly warm, so it's probably potentially not solidified as much as they normally do. If I get this rotating before it cools down completely, it'll probably speed up the breaking in process quite a lot. I do like these new Shimano pliers, they're actually working really nicely. So you squeeze this now instead of pulling it apart like the old Part Tool ones. And that's on. 25 degrees Celsius, so still quite warm. Let it cool completely down, this will be basically a solid lump. And then the first kilometre or so, it's quite a stiff drivetrain until the wax breaks itself in. And then it's no problem. You'll also get a lot of bits just falling off as it goes through the derailleur, just as it breaks itself free. The beauty of wax is it just stays like this. It's just literally spotless. It's fantastic stuff. So you get normally about 200 miles, depends on your wax, depends on the conditions, obviously, etc., etc. Kind of around about 150, 200 miles before you need to re-dip it. All you need to do is put it in hot water. That gets rid of this existing wax. You don't need to degrease it, etc., etc., etc. again. All you need to do is hot water, get this wax off, resubmerge it in the fresh wax, let it cool down, and just keep rotating like that. So it's a bit of faff initially to clean the degreaser off, etc., unless you use the silker stuff and be a bit smarter than the way I'm doing it. But once it's done, it's done. But a really, really good system. Super, super clean. It just stays like that forever. You can really tell when a bike comes in that's waxed. It just looks like this all the time. Fantastic stuff. Just a shout out to Brian. This is actually pretty good. I'm quite impressed with that. It's definitely better than just a spoke. Done a really nice job there. He's running it on his Etsy store. He's got a code BCR25, give you 25% off. Quite impressed with that. Well done, Brian. Thank you very much. All right, there's one last job to do to this bike. This should keep most people happy now. You happy now? I'm replacing it. Okay, I had enough grief. I'm putting a proper headset in it. But to be fair, the comments are absolutely right. I can't recommend people buy counterfeit parts. It's not right. So don't do it, guys. I've learnt my lesson. I've had to pay for 2 headsets now, so Let's get a proper headset in there. So what have we got going in here? Let me show you. We have this, a Wilderness Trails Bikes WTB Grease Guard. Correct era, I believe, from my research. The idea of this is it's got a little grease port in here. So periodical maintenance, use your grease gun, pump it full of grease, and the old grease I think comes through this O-ring here. As it is though, someone's already done that. It looks like fresh Shimano grease in there, so I won't be adding to that. That looks beautiful condition actually. Lower race as well, same. Obviously that's the fork crown race. Need that bit first. Gonna drop on here. Like I say, I've found the piece that's leaking in here. I've ordered that from SRP in America. It's about 4 weeks away at the moment, but a little rubber pellet basically, that's all it is there. And that causes that air leak, so that's on the way. I only need one, but I've got two and a new needle. There's a different needle that doesn't have the little side port, otherwise apparently it can damage the rubber as you go in there, so I've got a new needle as well. So that's on the way, don't worry. That's it. Hear it change tone when it gets to the bottom. I'll just get these pressed in. So I've left the grease port on the non-drive side of the bike. See the logos there. I mean, there's not really a right or wrong, but obviously don't put it there. You never get a grease gun on it, so I've left, so I've got access to it should it ever need it. And just get these lined up. And to take that out, just drop the fork in. So these O-rings you need to fit as well. That's the iconic orange one that'll go in there when it's all tightened back up. Throw that on for now. Sort that in a minute. And then put your spacers back on. And your stem. Like that. WTB top cap. That actually looks really nice, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna drop these O-rings in now before we tighten it down. And they should just sit there quite happily. Take the stool out, headset feels very nice. Yeah, I like that. Approved. Alright, I'll chuck this brake back on, get the wheel on, get it all back together. So when that seal thing arrives for the fork, I might do a bit of a video on this fork because I do want to paint it. And I've got some brand new stickers for it. So it kind of makes sense to strip it all down and do that as a one-er, I think. So that may be coming at some point. Never done one of these before. How hard can it be? Chuck this super lightweight wheel back in. It really don't weigh much at all. Oh. These XTR Vs are incredible. Honestly, the power, wow. Easy on par with disc brakes in my opinion. Maybe not when it's raining or muddy, but as they are, flipping fantastic. Just make sure that's aligned. Which is 6 Newton-meters I'll go for on this. I'm not sure they specify it anyway on the stem, it's a bit old for that. You can't go wrong with 6. A few greasy fingerprints to wipe down. And that is that. So there's the grease port there, there's one in the bottom, one in the top obviously as well. And then you just use your grease gun there, pump it full of grease when required. I think it just pours out the bottom of this seal then, clean it all up, put it back on. And obviously use a high quality grease, the best. So one last very quick job. The sticker here has just a little bit of damage, so I've got a brand new sticker, exactly the same. Stick that on. Well, I've just peeled the old one off, there's a bit of tape at the bottom to line it up. Bit of sticky label remover, and then get it stuck on. Quick wipe down with some isopropyl alcohol. I'm learning to say that word. I'm going to learn derailleur next. Right, stick it on now. Right, I'm going to have to move you out of the way because I need to get this straight. Yeah, about there. How hard can it be? I'm not committed yet. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe over this way a smidge. Right, I'd say that's pretty good there. Take this off before I end up sticking over the top of it. So if it looks wonky, it's the camera angle, trust me. Well, that's my excuse anyway. There you go. Beautiful. That looks pretty straight to me. Also, if anybody knows of a metal airborne head badge available, please let me know because I'd really like to put one on here. Doesn't look like it's ever had one to be honest, but it does need its head badge and I believe it was a metal one. I can't find one anywhere. So if anyone's got one, please let me know. Right, we're all good. Everyone happy now? I actually really like that, to be fair. It looks really, really good there. So that's it. I don't really think there's anything else I can do to this bike now other than obviously repair this fork. I'm waiting for the parts on that. I have managed to locate it, as I say. So that's great news. I'll probably get a titanium bottle cage for it as well. And like I say, if anyone's got a head tube badge for this, it would be absolutely phenomenal to get that on there. So if you do have one, please let me know because I'd really like to put one on. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the first video as well. Beautiful bike. It really is my pride to enjoy at the moment. Currently it's hanging on the wall, I get it, but hopefully I'll get some miles under my belt this year. Now I've got a little bit more spare time to myself. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you again next week and enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, whatever you are. Anyway, thanks for watching.